Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Brian over here at the Little Orchard Farm. Welcome to today's video. So glad to have you along. If you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button below to follow along all the action of two newbies starting their very own homestead right here in North Alabama. We'd love to have you along for that journey. Well, we've got the chicks. The chicks are a little over a week old right now, and here in a couple of weeks, they're going to need to be out on pasture. These are our meat birds. And so we're going to need to create something to allow them the opportunity to get out and free range. And so we're going to be building us a chicken tractor today. Garden is ready to be set. We got the fence done last week. And if you missed that, check out the video from last week. It was awesome. Our fencing structure is like Fort Knox. Hopefully no critters are going to be getting in, tearing up our garden. So we're going to get all that planted over the next couple of days. But today's all about the chicken tractor. Chicken tractors they come in a ton of different designs, a ton of different flavors, everything from the Joel Salatin, the John Siskovich, and anywhere in between. You've got tons of chicken tractor designs. Well, I'm going to keep it a little simple today. I went out and bought some materials, and I spent maybe a couple of $100. In today's market, it's insane, I know. But I bought drainage PVC, not the Schedule 40, just regular drainage PVC, 10-foot lengths. And we're going to create this probably, I'm looking at creating somewhere between a 10-foot long by about 8 feet wide. That's the goal anyway. And we're going to see how that kind of shakes out as we continue to lay it out. Got all the T's that are required, as well as my elbows, and I'll show you how those things are all going to fit together here in the next few minutes. So stick around as we build a chicken tractor. All right, now we've got the bales cut off of all of our end braces, or our ends, and that's what these pieces are going to be. I've got the additional 10 footers over here. We'll cut the bales off of those and leave those to length, about 9'7", 9'8". Once you put on the elbow, you'll pick up that additional 2 inches or so. It'll get you right at about the 10-foot mark. But these are the ends, so this is how wide it's going to be. If it's going to be 10 foot long, I think I'm going to make this 8 foot wide. So by making it 8 foot wide, we'll pull our measurement off the end. We'll mark our 8 foot. And then we're going to cut that. The piece that's left over is going to be in the neighborhood of just under 2 feet, about 20 inches. And this is what we'll use as our legs, which will determine the height of our chicken tractor. So if I have a 20-inch height, then that means that overall it should be right around 2 feet in height, because I'm going to pick up about 2 inches off of this 3-inch pipe in OD. Actually, it's 3 inches off the ground. That would make sense, right? So I'll pick up 3 inches on either side, on the top and the bottom. And so it'll be a little over 2 feet in height that comes up off the ground. That'll give the chickens plenty of ceiling space, so to speak. So that's what we're going to do now. Cut them off all at 8 feet. We'll then have our legs, and then we'll start working on getting the elbows glued onto these ends. It's a little trick that we're going to find on this next piece that will help us make sure that we get the right combination of fittings. Because after the 90-degree elbow, we've got to put a T right after it so that our legs can stick it up. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. Let's get all these cut to length at our 8-foot mark. Now you'll notice that I'm stopping just before the edge, and that's to actually prevent tear out. PVC has a tendency, particularly with a blade that's not designed for PVC, is to have a little blowout on this. And you can kind of see that on the bell that I cut earlier. It didn't do anything to the pipe before it, but you can see that it blew out the bell. So I'm just doing that to keep me from having any blowout on these legs. All right, the easiest way to do this is putting together these elbows to find a nice flat surface, because you're going to want all your elbows completely level on both ends. Obviously, you don't want one being nice and level and the other one being slightly tilted. Otherwise, your chicken tractor is going to be a little cattywampus, to say the least. So, we'll get to gluing these up. I use regular PVC all-purpose cement for this, but I also prime it with purple primer. I've got a few cardboard boxes, old scraps, that I'll use to make sure that I don't get it all over everything. Same here. And I do believe we're going to be good with that one. Those look pretty good. 2 down, 2 to go. Let's speed through this, shall we? All right, got all my legs cut. I got all my bushings cut. So now we're going to put these on each of the legs. So each of the ends will get something that looks just like that. Of course, it'll be straight up and down, and I'll check to make sure it's plumb. And then the other piece, the long piece, will go right into here. All right? The leg will go right into here. All right? All right, here is the frame. Man, it's a nice frame. Looks pretty darn good. All right, so we've got the frame completed. I did go back in and I added this one cross member bar because what I don't want to have is I don't want to have the metal roofing spanning the entire distance of this tractor, 10 feet long and a little over 8 feet wide. So I wanted to make sure that the metal roofing panels had a break in it. Also in the middle is a place where we may end up hanging the waterer. And so I wanted to provide us some additional support here. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to move on to the chicken wire, and we're going to wrap the perimeter with the chicken wire. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that using self-tapping screws with some very large washers and our chicken wire. Right now, I am going to cut this chicken wire in half so that we've got, this is a 48-inch chicken wire or a panel. And so I'm going to get about 24 inches. And this is, from top to bottom, is about 22 inches. So I should have an inch or two to play with. All right, let's knock it out. All right, so we're getting close. We got the two panels, and I don't know if you noticed or not, but these are the same leftover panels that we used on the cabin. So we had a couple of panels left. We're putting them to good use right here on the old chicken tractor. And so we've got the two on there. It's left enough space over here where I think I'm going to put some chicken wire to allow some direct sunlight to come in over the top. If they want to be in the sunlight, they can be in the sun. If they want to be in the shade, they can be in the shade. But this will allow some sunlight directly overhead And then we will finish up by cutting this particular piece of panel leftover to be kind of the door. And I'm debating on how to secure the door. I think I'll eventually put hinges to where I can hinge it up and down. But for the time being, I think I will simply put it over the top, put a little weight on it, and hopefully the wind won't blow it off. Use a couple of blocks or something like that. I'm sure there's probably some real creative ways, and I may have to do a little bit more research, but this will at least get the chickens out here. And if you haven't, I know I haven't given a chicken update in at least a couple of weeks. Actually, I think last week's showed Karen going and picking up the chickens, and that was actually 2.5 weeks ago or so. Well, here they are today. So these chickens are reaching right at that 3-week-old age, and they are getting rowdy in the little brooder that we have. So we put them out here in the in our little dog pen for a little while. But here in a couple of minutes, they're going to be in the chicken coop or in the chicken tractor. So that's going to be an exciting moment for them for sure. Gives them plenty of room to spread out and to scratch and forage and so forth. And they've been tearing the ground up even in the dog coop. They're wanting to, or in the dog crate, they want to scratch up the ground. I mean, it's in their blood, right? They're scratchers. And so we're going to get them over here shortly, let them do some scratching, and man, let them start to fatten up. All right, let me go ahead and get this this chicken cloth, the chicken wire here attached. I've got a little challenge along here, and I think what I'm going to do is do nuts and bolts and use those same washers that you see that's on here, and try to use the. I don't want to put screws down in the top of this because there's nothing to screw it into underneath the panel, and so it'll be a sharp screw sticking up. And sure as I'm sitting here, a chicken will jump up and impale itself with its noggin on the screw. So we don't want that. So I'm going to have to try to figure out a little something to do with that. But we are very close. Very, very close. Whoops. A little larger. Put a washer on this. And then lastly, we'll put the spring snout, carabiner, whatever we call it, on here. Well, all right, there you have it, our homemade chicken tractor. Total cost of this probably around $250 to $300, but the cost of PVC has certainly gone up considerably. Obviously with the inflation, I think everything has, but for about 250 bucks, it's a hopefully this will get us several years of use. So it's a great investment, I believe. And so there you have it. the Little Orchard Farm chicken tractor. Hey guys, we hope you have a wonderful week and a very blessed week. Till we see you again the next time, we will see ya.